Let me put on my pants.
Pants. Oh, well, we're live anyway.
Are we doing crotch cam?
Oh, I haven't got the funds for that yet.
Dang.
Ugh.
How are we gonna pull in all them people that want to see, crotches?
Crotches.
Let's just move on.
I just wanted to let you know we were live for the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, I know. That's why I kept talking.
Okay, just making sure you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, dude.
Welcome everyone to SDR.
Where we talk about pants when we go on the air because Chris can't figure out how to stream things normally.
Hey, technically, that was just how the conversation was segueing.
We're also 7 minutes late because you can't figure out how to use the computer you've owned for like a year.
It's been longer than a year. I'd seen that computer like last year, NCR.
Man, that's true. I suck. Anyway, we want to welcome to the, like Gibby said, welcome to another exciting episode of Super Desperation Radio, number 221.
I never said anything about exciting.
It's never exciting. Honestly, I just keep saying that, and hopefully people,
Yeah, speaking of not exciting, man, that community effort Snorlando, a.k.a. I can't be asked to wake up early enough in the morning because I don't have good sleeping schedule, and it was actually really good. I enjoyed watching.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's more so that I wanted to
field,
watch
considering the tournament was actually pretty good.
I wanted to watch more, but I just couldn't force myself to wake up. That was the only problem.
I'm just not into it.
Otherwise, yeah, it was a really great event. I enjoy it. I like the whole silliness of it. Like, it doesn't have to take stuff too seriously while still being enjoyable.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. It was a very relaxed environment. Definitely didn't look like people were striving too hard to work outside of their comfort zone. So that's cool. And we also got a lot of great matches on top of that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We'll be covering that a little bit later, but first I want to open up with the fact that obviously the preliminary polls for EVO 2013 are up. Remember, these are very likely to change before the event begins. I think they give us a week before they put up the final ones, right?
Is it? I'm not even sure of the exact amount of time, but yeah. It's pretty much at this point. Check your place in the brackets, and then look for weird discrepancies, people being entered twice, anything out of the ordinary.
Right.
I think
in some cases. What?
One of the discrepancies I saw was that there was two people with the handle nameless, but yet they were two completely different people.
Well,
It's just one of those like chaos things or whatever.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. And the other thing you got to watch out for is you're going to see people who are seeded ending up playing people who are normally from their same area just because the other people aren't seeded.
That's right.
So.
Oh, speaking of seeded, apparently me and Gibby are seeded.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Why.
Yeah.
So is that like Arcade Shock, all nice and seated?
Yeah, we called in a couple favors. Actually, it's because we both tied for 13th at NCR.
Yeah.
For last.
13th.
Oh, is that what? I didn't even realize they were seeding for that far up.
Yeah, it was and I guess top 16 at any of the majors.
Oh.
I think they said you have by the end of tonight, Pacific time, to send in your seating info. Otherwise, you don't get seated. Like if you happen to get fourth or basically anywhere between first and 16th in any of the games, and you see your name in the bracket and you're not seated, there's an info page on SRK about that.
Yeah.
So you just email, I believe it's Tony Cannon. You go from there.
Yeah. I got seated too. I mean, you guys don't see me in the bracket. That's because I'm the secret last boss after Grand Finals.
Oh, you're Akuma?
Yeah, they have to play me. Like, I come in and I like beat up, I don't know, whoever's in first place.
You come in and like they have to play. You come in and like freaking throw Mad KOF off the stage.
You gotta play me now. The thing is that as I play against you, I'm not any better, but I like kick the chair up underneath you, reflect like lasers into your eyes and stuff. It's really cheap.
And then you make ghosts appear in the PS3 monitor.
Yeah, they just start haunting everything. It is me, the ghost of the PS3. I'm now going to curse you.
Xbox?
No, just Chris G.
Oh, just
the lag only affects him, dude.
Okay.
Like a lot of people were like, obviously teeing off on Chris G, but I have to hand it to him. He literally went on Twitter and said, "You know what? I am not going to say anything."
But he just
I've
said
gone
something.
on Twitter to say that I will say
Yeah.
nothing.
But
After I've said
that's
something.
leagues better than what he's done in the past. Well, at least we got to admit that.
No, I'm not
Cleaning
gonna.
up his act a little bit.
Yeah.
I still think it's stupid. There was no reason for him to do it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, then apparently he deleted the tweet.
Oh, so I've
Mm.
gone
So he
on
really did say nothing.
to say that I'm not gonna say anything, and then I will unsay it.
Wow, what a genius, man.
There's no record. We can't ever find out if it's ever been said or not.
That's right. I'm just talking out of my ass right now.
Yeah, man, those are fake. You know, I'm sure that there's some guy out there, former NSA contractor, leaking tweets, from Chris G's Twitter.
Yo, Snowden's on Chris G's ass.
Yeah. Yo, man, Chris G said this.
And he deleted it.
So, I'd say the biggest news, and it's kind of been floating around for a day or two, depending on where you've been listening, is that Smash got a metric ton of entrants.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good for the Smash community. I mean,
And it's not only really good for the Smash community, but it also kind of makes everybody look like assholes.
Because we didn't believe.
Because people didn't want them in.
well, they didn't want them in. They said they don't deserve a spot, and basically it's been nothing but people trashing Smash. When in reality, the majority, I can't say the majority, but a good chunk of the 09ers came from the Smash scene.
Yeah.
And I find it funny when I talk to them. They're like, "Oh yeah," and they go in like deep shit about the Smash scene. I'm like, wait, you play Smash? Oh yeah, I started in the Smash scene. I'm like, what the hell? Why are you bashing it now? Oh, because such and such game is better.
Because
Oh,
it's hip and trendy.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, exactly, pretty much.
Well, I mean, come on. At the time, we were I think when it first was popular, Slam Bash. I mean, Slam Smash. Sorry.
Slam Bash.
Slam Bash.
Dude, Bash Brothers? Is that the new one?
Shit. I mean, at the time, there was a lot of antagonistic aura, I guess you could call it, between both communities. It wasn't like, Smash didn't have its fair share of fuck Street Fighter. It was just, young kids being dumb and trying to say their scene was the best. And now these days, I kind of feel like people are kind of piggybacking off of what a very small handful of people were saying to each other. Because I mean, most people that I hear say fuck Smash, and I'm just all like, do you even play it, or did you even try it, or are you just going with the collective? Because it's a huge fucking scene. There's really no reason to bash it.
You know what? Like a really good way to kind of describe it is the way I see it is that let's take, fighting games have been around forever. Street Fighter 2, it's like, oh yeah. And then there's Smash Brothers, this little kiddie game that isn't really competitive and they have to make up their own rules in order to play it. So it's kind of just like, that's what the mentality people had when it came out for any competitive scene. And Smash Brothers was like, no, we're good, we're great. So it was pretty much like a little brother trying to prove to his older brother that he's can hang with him, and he does not giving him the time of day, and all of his friends are just kind of laughing at him. And I think once they finally stopped trying to prove themselves to anything and just played their game is when people would look back and be like, oh look, they're actually not that bad of people. They know how to run their own events and they play it. So
Yeah.
It feels like more and more now people can respect them just because they're not trying to prove anything, but by not doing so, they've actually proved themselves to be quite decent individuals.
Exactly, and a fair amount of them actually migrate over here and do well. So
Yeah, so I mean,
And you got to remember, these guys all put in a ton of money for charity.
yes, sir.
So not only did you have a ton of people donate a ton of money, these guys they still had enough money to come to the tournament.
yeah.
And this is actually the largest Smash tournament ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's something people need to look at, because I mean, they proved that they'll actually show. They're showing up in huge numbers.
Mhm.
Hey, if Smash goes well this year, maybe they can make it back in the Evo next year.
Yeah, because the new one's going to be coming out, I think.
Late this year, early next year, I believe.
Yeah, they'll have a new game, so I mean, in theory, they should be invited back, I think.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. But that's just me. What were the other entry numbers looking like for other games?
Somebody actually did a breakdown, not of the actual numbers, but if you just based it on the number of pools, how many it would be.
It's AE with around 1600, Marvel 3 with around 1300, Smash coming in at around 700, Injustice at over 600, Cross Tekken around 600, KOF at close to 500, P4 at over 400, Tag 2 at 350, and MK9 at 240. And then
what else is
Skullgirls at 100 or close to 150, I think, at this moment, as of 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And
So
this is all rounded figures, right? Or
Yeah,
is
these are
this-
all rounded. Obviously, there's not accounting for buys
Yeah.
and any other
KOF
discrepancies.
Yeah, KOF has about 420 to 440. Actual
420.
entries. 420. So
You know what else is actually really interesting is for the amount of hate Cross Tekken has gotten and continues to get. I don't know if everybody was watching Finals Day at CEO, but those cheers were not because of the hype Cross Tekken gameplay. That was a crowd who did not want to see the game anymore. And it's still got really good numbers.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that's another example of people just going with the trend. Because I'll be honest, like, that was probably some of the best cross-taken matches I've ever seen. That, I'm a little biased because LPN was in top 3, so that's my boy. But it was watchable at least, and I really didn't see much wrong with it outside of the fact that, you know, the previous stigmas still affect it. And so, I mean, I wouldn't say people have to like it now, because obviously that's ridiculous. But I also don't think people should be quick to write it off. I mean, if you don't like the game, you don't like the game. So.
I think obviously also for stream numbers, all this gambling with my virtual money, even if I don't like it, I want to make sure that someone wins.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, man.
Like,
I'm
that
up to,
definitely.
I think I'm up to like 3K now, man.
Oh wow!
Coming up.
I
baby.
haven't gone in on that just because I'm like, well, I can understand the merits behind it and why people enjoy it, but it's not for me.
Dude, like, I almost came up hella big yesterday because it was like, I think it was Rosa versus like somebody else, I forget. It was in a top 16 for Marvel or some shit. So anyway, like, I didn't know who this Jay Rosa guy was, right? Well, I mean, I did know, but I was like, I bet on the other guy. At least I thought I did. And then, like, Jay Rosa starts winning the match, and I'm just like, fuck! Like, what the fuck, who is this guy? And I go and check Salty Bets. And all of a sudden, I see that I accidentally bet on Jay Rosa, and nobody else bet on him. And so my $200 would have easily turned into, like, 8,000.
Wow!
And so I'm like, go Rosa! Oh, my God!
And for the record, if you guys don't know what he's talking about the virtual betting site, saltybets.com, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
It's all fake money, play money. I just wanted to point out that the fact that he's getting excited for fake money is, yeah.
Hey, man.
Yo, it's the thrill of the gamble.
Betting is betting. That's all I'm going to say. It's practice for Vegas.
Okay, sure. Anyway, so yeah, CEO this weekend was pretty good. It had a really good presentation. They brought back the ring. This time they brought a small steel cage in, which Mike Ross was ripped as shit and just decided to destroy the steel cage. God damn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so Mike Ross's team ended up taking out the Empire team, which I believe was Yipes, Flocker, and
K-Brad.
K-Brad. Okay.
Right.
So what was it? It was Mike Ross, Flo, and Ricky Ortiz, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, they took out that team, and there's a GIF floating around of Mike Ross breaking the cage, and Yipes just like, what the shit just happened?
Yeah, they beat
The hell?
EMP, right?
I gotta question everything I've done in life up till this point. The ring, from some of the people I talked to, the ring didn't seem as annoying as last year. Because last year I was told the ring, Hanzo Gonzo said this, the ring was all like bouncy as shit. Because that's what wrestling rings are.
Oh,
like,
because it was like an
tight
actual ring.
trampoline. Yeah, so when they would play, or if people were hitting the ring from the outside or jumping inside the ring, it like distracted them. They couldn't really do anything right because they were bouncing while they were sitting.
Oh,
I didn't
shit.
hear much of that this year. Looked pretty good. Jabali is now Jabaldi. Hey, that sounds exactly like the $1 Million Man laugh. Perfect. For those who don't know why, he and Markman played a first to 5 and dive kick, and Markman kind of sort of destroyed him.
That character's broken, man.
Yeah, Markman's character does look kind of.
He's such a cheater, says Jimmy C.
How can you have a dive kick and an up kick?
Yeah, rise kick, I think people were calling it.
Does it actually hit?
I think it hits on the way up.
Yeah,
Okay.
the up kick hits. I saw it hit once at least. But they did exhibitions for that, KOF, Marvel. I honestly, most of us didn't watch the KOF or the Marvel one we came in on. What was it, Fnatic and what was it?
It was Fnatic
CJ
versus
Combo.
CJ and Mama CJ.
Yeah, it was. I personally didn't watch most of that. Everyone was sitting down and watching. I didn't really care too much. Fnatic won 10-5, I believe. Romance won his match 3-0 against Mago, which I still personally feel that match should never have happened. Mago doesn't play KOF anymore.
Nope.
There's absolutely no reason Romance was going to go in there and steamroll him no matter what. They could have used that time for something else, like, slamming Nothing X's through the commentary table. I would
that
have
ever
really
happen?
enjoyed that. I don't know.
Did
Yeah,
any-
I don't know.
well,
Yeah, then KOF. What is it? KOF was pretty good. We had top 3 was what was it? Shit, I forgot the Peruvian player's name. I suck. But Romance got second. Reynolds got first. Cien actually got 4th, which surprised a lot of people because they figured he'd get 3rd or 2nd. Especially the final round was 3-4 months ago. He did really well at final round, and his performances haven't been as good since then. And it's mainly because he can't seem to deal with the people he's playing anymore.
okay.
Which in reality is just Reynolds and Romance. What did you guys think of finals? For those of you who actually watched.
It was interesting to see the selections that Reynolds did and a lot of the things. Romance's play looked more or less the same as usual. A lot of relying on Yuri. His Benimaru was, solid as usual, but for the most part, it just seemed really dominating from Reynolds. Especially the second set. I don't know, man. It's you feel like he's probably overtaken Romance. So.
Well, Romance finally started doing lightning loops, right?
Tried.
No.
Yeah,
At least
tried.
he's going for it.
I think the big discussion point between Reynolds and Romance was the intro music choice. Did he choose his own song?
Oh my god, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, and I asked Reynolds about that. Reynolds said he decided not to come out to music because he did not care. And I like that. It sounds like something I'd have done when I was young. I don't give a shit about this music. Just let's go play. God damn it.
I actually prefer that because a lot of the people that were having instruments songs, the songs were fucking terrible, man.
Yeah.
The only reason Gibby wouldn't come out to music is that Turtles don't have a theme song.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm sure you'd have the Muhammad Hassan.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was terrible. That was the worst rendition of that theme I've ever heard.
0 stars.
Yeah, would not listen to it again. But I think the intro music's really fun because if it is chosen by the person, you kind of get a good look at their personality.
Yeah.
And see if they actually have some humor about them. Or you can come into generic R&B.
Oh my god.
I gotta say, out of all the music I heard, Markman's was my favorite because everyone's got a price.
Yep.
That was definitely the most hype music. Well, that and DuckTales.
DuckTales was pretty legit.
Yeah.
Who came out to DuckTales?
That was Richard
Richard
Wynn.
Wynn.
Yeah.
Duck Wynn.
Duckwin?
Yeah, the
Is that his
Gooey
new
Bees. Yeah.
The
That's
best, however, was Valle saying on Twitter that he'd never even heard of DuckTales.
Really?
Not Valle, but Richard Wynn.
Oh.
And I was like, well, if you think about it, Richard is what, something like 2021?
Dang.
Yeah, he would have been a fetus when DuckTales was on television.
Right.
So, it makes sense.
But who doesn't get a pass is Ski Sonic, who apparently caught up in his hipster ways never watched an episode of DuckTales. I don't know. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, that was disheartening.
Yeah.
Maybe he's lying to everyone just so he can be quote unquote cool.
That's what I mean, man. He's like totally doing a hipster role. He's like DuckTales.
Man, for all we know, he's got the entire DVD box set under his cap.
That's right, man.
That
Like-
magical hat.
His other hat is a Scrooge McDuck top hat.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Nah, man, his other hat is launch pad.
Quack.
Goggles.
Launch McPad. Yeah.
Launch
Pad.
Launchpad McQuack.
Yeah, McQuack. I kept saying McQuackin. Jeez.
McQuackin.
What's wrong with me? Yeah, I was my favorite character was the rich Scottish guy. Forgot his name.
Glomgold?
Yeah.
Linhart
Yeah.
Glomgold?
He was a shit. He
Second
is
richest
Scrooge.
duck in the world.
Yeah. Second richest duck.
That dude was uptight about it.
He
Yo,
was.
stay pressed.
He's like, all I need is that dime.
Anyway, yeah. So I don't know what the turnout was for KOF or any of the other games, but Jabali said there was a total of 1,800 people who
Damn.
paid for entry. No, not tournament entry, but entry into the event. That includes players and viewers.
People that like to act silly in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say the crowd monsters at CEO this year are.
They were getting a little out of control.
Like, I think they saw that the camera was on them. Like, I'm not saying that there was fake hype or anything, but there was definitely some showboating for the camera.
Yeah.
You know what? You'll say it's not fake hype. I'll say it's fake. There you go. There you
It was a
go.
little
They were-
obtuse.
I'm sure they were hyped to be on the stream.
No, I
Yeah.
agree with you, but it just didn't seem genuine to me.
Yeah, well, the Popeyes, it was doll sim dance and holding someone's lifeless body. It was
That was
getting
Only
a
in
bit-
America, baby.
getting a bit much.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that. I honestly watched like bits and pieces. One thing that I found hilarious in the crowd was everyone holding like a Jabali dive kick character,
Oh,
or
yeah.
Jafali or whatever.
Hmm.
That was obviously provided by the venue.
Yeah. It's just like a WWE
Handing out
event.
signs when you get in the door.
Yeah, man. Only our signs are allowed to be held up.
Yeah, and also good shit to Ultra David for pulling off Phoenix Wright cosplay,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so-
yeah. It was great.
and James Chen for trying to channel his inner Vince McMahon.
He tried.
Wasn't that
Good
bad.
effort.
Yeah.
It was good effort. He didn't quite have the old McMahon voice down, but I definitely give it to Jimmy C for trying.
He definitely had the antagonistic demeanor down pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
So that was a fun one. Overall, I thought it was really fun to watch. And one year, I hope to go there. Supposedly, it's supposed to be bigger than next year.
Yeah, you could
So-
do Spanish commentary for KOF.
Oh my god!
What?
I want to do Japanese commentary in an Austrian accent.
No.
We're not.
Saikyo desu.
Haven't
So-
you been banned from doing that everywhere?
Yeah. Aren't you not allowed to be Austrian anymore? Aren't you
no.
banned from the country of Austria? Can't even come within 200 feet of the embassy.
They revoked my Austrian green card.
I'm being moved to. Good lord.
So, just as a quick aside about the whole people being silly in crowds, which I mean, I enjoy it. People can get a little over the top, but nobody's getting hurt by it or anything. They're just people having a good time.
Yeah.
How do you think it's going to be at EVO? The crowds are going to be a bit more cut and dry, you think? Because I feel like it's got a bit more of a professional attitude and air around it, you know?
I don't know. It felt like at least after KOF last year, I think Evo might be cracking down on the crowd monstering a little bit,
Mm-mm.
because I know they were not happy with some of that, especially Blake.
Yeah. That's the thing. Because, I mean, EVO's always been a pretty professional event when it's been ran. As much as they can help, control other people anyways. But,
Well, they used
we'll see.
props last year, didn't they? Like, they were doing the whole salt shakers and stuff, which was...
I mean, yeah,
and
that's
I think,
fine. But it's not people being crazy silly and dancing around and singing.
That's
Well, yeah, and the thing is that they didn't like all the big signs because they cover the crowd for crowd shots.
Yeah.
And that gives you a much better idea of, what the atmosphere is like than seeing one guy dance in front with coated in a big flag. So it'll be interesting. But, they didn't end up throwing anybody out, so they might just let it rock again this year. You never know.
I would hope so. Usually the sign stuff is reserved for like seating that is layered, like with rows that go upwards versus like everybody sitting on the same level.
Well, they don't mind. I'm sure they don't mind if there are signs in the crowd. They just don't want the sign like in front of the camera where it blocks out the entire crowd.
Yeah.
Right. There was one thing that I thought was weird. I mean, I'm sure that like at least at first I thought I was sure that it was okay, but like I noticed there was a lot of people in the ring. Like, that didn't really seem to be doing anything, and then, like, eventually, like, Jeb Bailey shows up, like, yeah, you guys need to get out. If you're not supposed to be here, get out.
I thought it was really funny, because when Ocean was in there coaching, and it's like, oh, okay, and then the camera pans, and there's two other guys just sitting there, I'm like, who are they? What are they there for?
The corner man.
Those are Ocean's coaches, duh.
Yeah, make sure he's not saying the wrong shit.
You did a good job. It's...
I expect the Evo crowd to be like excitable and loud and whatnot. Of course, last year a lot of people got upset because during KOF finals there was the Culero chant, and some people felt that was a little inappropriate. I mean, personally, for me, I'm just kind of like, we can't stop them from doing that. That's what
we could just be louder and yell them into submission.
You want everybody on stage?
Man, it's hard to say. It's a gray area. At the time, I honestly didn't see a problem with it. But now I can see that it could be taken as, fairly threatening, especially by people who don't necessarily know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think I guess I honestly felt that it wasn't really in good taste, but especially because I'm pretty sure wasn't that chanted for one of the Korean players? And it's like they're already not from this country, and we're gonna make them feel even more unwelcome. Like that doesn't make it any better, but it's like this isn't something that is like defining what this country is about. People being here. It's like, well, everybody there is very threatening and, apprehensive, so I don't think I'll ever want to go back. This isn't a good look.
But at the same time, I wouldn't want to stop people from chanting for their favorite player or chanting against their least favorite player,
Yeah, I think it's just more of... It's not about the chanting. I think it's more about what was said. I think, if the crowd wants to go nuts and chant for somebody, that's all good. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you should watch what you're chanting. How about that?
Yeah, like if you're not gonna don't say something that you wouldn't say to their face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, easily just chant something like Super Dragon.
Yeah,
I mean, monopoly on that already.
Yeah. Thank you, Internet, for us writers never having to write anything original ever again.
Yeah.
Oh man, so yeah, that's CEO 2013, and then we got Evo coming up, of course. I really feel like I've been talking to you guys about this, but I'm kind of worried. Like, not really worried as much as I am almost sure that this could be KOF's last appearance there. I feel like, unless something huge happens this year again, in which case it'll probably be renewed vigor. But I also feel like, with the game being out for so long and other games receiving updates in half the time that KOF has been in existence, that it'll grow stale. And for me, that's not necessarily a sad thing, although that means I probably won't get to commentate another KOF thing at Evo. I could always switch over to Marvel. But I don't know, I'm still excited. I'm not bummed about that. I hope it survives.
Dude, you've been practicing your Marvel commentary this entire weekend.
I know. If anybody saw me on the run back, I got to commentate Marvel because there was nobody.
Just remember to practice your oohs and ahs.
Ooh. I don't know. I might do that. I also like to commentate Guilty Gear because, like, I know that when Exart eventually drops, they'll give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they'll just give a chance to Plus R because hopefully that comes out sometime soon.
I wouldn't hold your breath on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice,
corner.
Oh man, is
but
that vaporware?
the game's not HD graphics. Must have HD graphics to be Evo.
Well, they got
Or at least
they got the ST games, right? We should just do something like that.
Yeah.
Old man Evo.
Old man.
Yeah.
Old man anime Evo.
Where are we gonna hold it? Where's the biggest retirement place? Is it still Florida? it'll be East Coast Evo for old men.
No evil for old men. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm having a hard time segueing into this Kotaku issue, man.
I enjoy that. That's just the best.
There you go. I think that was a pretty good segue.
Oh, well, I'm there.
Yep. Just gonna fucking barrel right into it. So, in case you didn't hear about it, there was a little bit of a controversy that occurred at CEO 2013. Aside from Chris G's seeing ghosts in the screen or something, Noel Brown actually was involved in an altercation with his, I guess his ex-girlfriend and another player at the tournament, and he was arrested on domestic violence. And yeah, Kotaku grabbed a hold of the story and ran it, and people are upset. Some people are calling Kotaku biased, and
Yeah, I would like to clear something up, Chris, really quickly.
go for it.
The charges being levied against Noel are just battery charges.
Mhm.
And obviously, this is all alleged. We weren't there. We don't know. We can't say.
Right. I mean, the article seemed to have a lot of information about what occurred, but I hadn't heard anything.
From what Kotaku is saying, they were given access to the police report, but again, we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing from that is this is news. This is something that a company like Kotaku wants to actually report about.
Well, I saw somebody comment that actually on the page, on the article page, and the actual author said, like, this is a gamer-related website. We report on gamer-related issues, even the ones that reflect badly on the gamer community. And I kind of felt like that was such a disingenuous response. Like,
yeah, I
just,
mean,
like, such a fake-ass
technically,
response.
you know, the National Enquirer is, you know, a news rag, but I mean, a lot of that's fake. But even the stuff like TMZ, it's like, I mean, is what happens in someone's personal life really that big of a deal to the gaming community?
Well, I think it becomes a couple things. First, you have to accept that Noel is considered a public figure at this point. He may not exactly be famous, but there's a large crowd of people who know who he is.
Pretty sure he's a bit infamous after the whole remix thing.
Well, okay, that might be true. But it's newsworthy in that regard. He is a public figure.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I feel they were well within their right to do it. I feel like the issues it presents are important to talk about. Now, the thing that I've heard that I actually don't have a problem with is that a lot of people are calling Kotaku on saying your coverage is biased because the bad things that happen in the fighting game community are covered and not the bad things that happen in other communities.
Which are plenty.
Which, that's a fair point. I can't really say that I've seen a lot of coverage on some of the bad things that I had heard have happened in other communities. Things that I obviously, you know, I've only heard stories about secondhand, so I don't know exactly what the truth of them is. But still, it's weird to get that feeling from a news source where you're like, I see you blaming one side for all of these problems, and then you don't blame another side for similar problems.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, the only thing about the article that really irked me was It did feel like there were a couple asides, like the aside about like the good the fighting game community has done. It really felt like it was just thrown a sentence in there to be like, and this is now a balanced article, because you don't even really need to include. You don't even need to include it. That has nothing to do with the article.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter.
It's almost apologetic.
No, it's actually just, it's not apologetic at all. It's covering your ass, is what it is.
Yeah.
Or
It's like saying, like, you know, no offense, but...
Exactly. Just, in journalism, that doesn't matter. You report the facts of what happened, or as you know them, or as that they are written down, you know, obviously in this case by the police. It doesn't matter about, you know, all the money that went to breast cancer. That doesn't matter. That's not the facts that as pertains to this.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was bringing up the Eris incident at Cross Assault again.
Right. So out of left field.
Yeah, I don't really see that event has a bearing on this case at all.
You want to know what the funniest thing about that, too, is, though? Is that, first of all, it doesn't have any bearing on the case. But is that really the only thing that they can pull to make the fighting community to continually look bad? Like, one thing? It's not like, you know, it's like scandal after scandal, like one after another. They always go back to this one thing because it's all they got. It just feels like it really is trying to be like an attack.
Yeah, and the one thing that it might have just been the structure of the article, which could totally take an edit or two.
Yeah.
But they mentioned how they approached Jabali about it, which is totally I mean, I feel like that's totally unacceptable. Like,
yeah, it's not like it happened at the event.
right.
It
wasn't in the hotel. Talk to the
Yeah.
hotel about it.
I think it's fair to approach Jabali about it, simply because as the administrator of the event, it's possible that he could have known what was going on.
True.
Honestly, if I was him, I would have just returned, I don't know, no comment.
Right. And then instead he linked that video. And
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's his prerogative. I'm not even going to go into that.
Right.
I think that's another thing that's unimportant.
Right. But the thing, and it is unimportant, but the thing that bothered me about it was that after that little part of the article, then they go into the Eris thing, like that's almost like they're countering his idea with their own like perception of us, and then they ended with like, by the way, they also raised this much money for breast cancer, and they offer a scholarship, and it's a shit sandwich. You know? It's just like, you know, give us the good news, bad news, and then some more good news. And I'm like, why? What's the point? Does that actually counterbalance what Noel did? No, it doesn't. You know, like.
I mean,
go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say. I mean, also though, like, yeah, like, oh no, this fighting game community member did this. Didn't you just report on something today that no one had even heard about? That happened like a week ago?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is that, you know, I made mention of the Noel incident on Twitter, and I actually had one of the members of the Tekken community, you know, hit me up. He's like, it's really kind of disconcerting that this stuff gets thrown around, mentioned everywhere, and the Tekken community, you know, just helped some guy save his house by donating about $1,800. And I'm like, I haven't even heard about this. So he linked me the story on Tekken Zaibatsu, and I got that up on iPlay Winner today. But it's really telling that good deeds and the things that are good go under the radar, and it's not necessarily just the media always seeks out the bad news. It's that, but that does happen. Don't get me wrong. It's that sometimes good deeds go uncelebrated. Like the person who, the guy Dilly, whose house it was, you know, I don't think he went to anybody being like, hey, my house got saved, you know, like I'm going to be able to live. He was probably so happy just thanking the people who helped him. He didn't want it, you know, he didn't want to have a big press event about that. And a lot of the donors who remained anonymous, they didn't want to have a big press junket about it. So you ended up.
Uh-oh.
What? Paul?
So,
you cut off.
but it's hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, when I first heard it, when I first read it, I was pretty pissed because of the track record they have with reporting FGC events, and like you said, like good news goes uncelebrated, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of other news that is neither bad nor good, but it's just straight news. And the thing about Kotaku was that they were arguing that they report on gamer related issues, and they do, and I'm sure they can only catch so much at a time, but at the same time it almost seems like they go out of their way to like just shoehorn some bad shit in there, you know. And I get it that it's going to get people to view it. They're going to get hits, and from a business standpoint, I understand that. I don't necessarily know if it's a good thing. That's why I'm probably not in that business. But I don't think they can counter that argument that, when somebody comes up and tells them that they're sensationalist, reporters, they can't counter it by saying like, oh, we unbiasedly report on everything. And, they don't cover tournaments or anything like that. And there was a lot of great things that happened aside from the tournament at CEO that they could have, like, that was totally newsworthy. And they didn't get in anything,
Yeah.
And this was the only thing they take away from it.
Well, it's hard to say because that in a situation like this, just because things aren't bad, I mean, I guess I look at it like this. Things are good, and that's awesome, but things are not supposed to be bad. Like, we have to look at a baseline here, and a baseline is that things should not be bad. We shouldn't be patting ourselves on the back for not having problems.
Exactly.
I mean, the issue here is what happened, not that it got reported on. Like, the issue here is that there was a case of battery, and that allegedly a woman was hit, and maybe another player, and that's not okay.
Right. And that's the thing I wanted to talk about, was more that, like, they pretty much made it just about Noel Brown, They said
well, it is about Noel Brown, but it's about people like him as well, people who would do this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is an issue that needs to be addressed, but it's an issue that needs to be addressed by more than just a bunch of guys sitting around on a podcast. It needs to be addressed by a bunch of people in the community.
Yeah. And, like, I'm not going to say, because I don't know the whole story, so I can't comment on his behavior. I mean, like, hitting anyone is never really okay, unless it's, me hitting Gibby. But...
You hitting what?
Gibby.
Yeah, you're going to get broken if you do that.
But... I don't know, it's weird. It's one of those things where, like, it's like when everybody heard that Chris Brown hit Rihanna, right? And everybody was, like, demonizing him and whatnot. And it took almost like maybe a month before people started discussing it as like the issue at hand, where like battery is never okay. There needs to be like some kind of people needed to understand that, instead of like trying to get a hold of the juicy details of the gossip, right? And I felt like,
it's the wrong focus because
Yeah.
people are too busy trying to know exactly what happened when that's not important.
Exactly. Like, I felt like this article was about everything else but the fact that he hit two people.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, I can't even say that, because I feel like that needs to be the focus, is that it happened.
Right.
Or, that there is a case being mounted against him by the state of Florida that it happened.
Right. Yeah. It's just dangerous reporting.
What'd you say?
I feel like it's dangerous reporting at this stage to be pointing that out, and then then to follow it up with stuff like the cross assault shit and the breast cancer thing that just totally is douchey, right? Like, I feel like there was just too much going on in that article and not enough like it just didn't seem like it needed to be written right now.
I don't know. I think you're right in terms of the fact that I wouldn't have paired those three events in terms of this article, simply because what this article sought to do at first is report an incident, facts. And then it sort of started to become almost like an editorial piece as it came down to the end, because started throwing in things that were not related to the event.
Right.
So, I mean, yes, there's definitely a field of thought that can link, what happened at Cross Assault to what happened here in terms of society, but I don't necessarily think there's a direct correlation from one to the other in this case.
Right.
But
like,
I mean, this is a huge problem.
Right. And it's ugly. There's it's just gonna be divisive. And I mean, I would have preferred it to just been about what happened and that's it. They didn't need to even mention the FGC or anything. They needed to talk about the fact that maybe just in the context that Noel Brown is a top FGC player and this happened and that's it. And so people can focus on the actual crime that occurred instead of turning an outward eye towards everything. Because now everybody's pissed. Everybody's just oh, Kotaku's always, hammering on the FGC.
Yeah, and I think the problem with that is that it becomes an issue where people are more reactionary because they are upset that they're getting attacked, and by there they mean fighting gamers are getting attacked. So they react always negatively. They lash out at Kotaku for blaming them when, each individual person is still responsible for his or her own actions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're worried about the fighting game community being called a bunch of misogynists and abusers, then maybe you should work toward removing misogyny and abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just take a blind eye in a back seat and be like, oh, that's not good, but I'm not going to join in. It's like, why don't you just be like, hey man, that's not cool.
Yeah, dude. There was a video that I watched a little while ago. It has something to do with the Australian Army, but the guy makes a really, really good point about standing up for things, and he just says the standard you walk past is the standard you accept.
Right.
So if you walk past somebody fucking up or being a douche, that means you're okay with it.
Yeah, basically silence is acceptance. So, if you hear people making gross comments, then you made those gross comments too, or you let that happen.
You let it happen. You could easily just say to cut it out.
Yeah.
And in correlation to what we were just talking about with the whole Noel Brown thing, the kind of immediate garbage that comes up on forums and on streams about domestic violence jokes and all these stupid gags, and the fucking idea that I know some guy out there just had a fucking bionic arm clip that he wanted to edit and a Noel Brown face that he can put on there, and it's like, man, this is gonna get me some gags. This shit is not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no laughing matter at all that's happening with this.
Right.
Yeah. And the fact that you're trying to laugh about this kind of garbage is what makes it fucking accepted to other people. They consider it a joke. That's not a fucking gag. So that kind of shit needs to stop. So when somebody actually has the fucking audacity to do some kind of garbage like that, call them out. Or if they're, by some chance, you're on a fucking stream that actually has a decent moderator, get them to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that chat was just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it was trash.
And, honestly, especially if you hear something from a friend, just be like, yo, dude, what the hell? That's not cool. And most people aren't going to immediately shun you and be like, you're a jackass. And if they do, then maybe they're the one with the problem and not you.
Right.
There's a lot of concepts of white knighting in this community for absolutely no reason. Trying to protect your friends and your loved ones is something we all should do.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit confused why that's a bad thing.
Well, it's because people, the internet especially, has this mentality that, the fun can't be stopped, And if you try to stop it, you're a fucking narc or something, right? And should be pointed out as such. And that's why the whole white knight thing has become the trope that it is, because pretty much anybody that stands up for anyone or anything is a fucking goober. You know?
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that guy. He clearly does not. He is not fulfilled. He or she is not fulfilled in life, and so he or she finds causes to stand up for. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And that's not to say that fighting games are the end all, like the worst thing ever, and that everybody in the community is a horrible piece of human garbage. It's not like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like society. There are people who are great people who do great things, and then there are people who do bad things. Just because we can't change everything in a day doesn't mean you can't start trying.
Yeah. People are like, what you do is just a drop in an ocean. But what is the ocean but just millions of drops?
Yeah.
It's deep.
Yeah, I stole it from a movie.
You could have totally not said
China.
that. And I would have just put that on the T-shirt.
What? I'm not gonna plagiarize. Just Cloud Atlas. That's pretty good.
Tim Allen
That's
said
what I
that.
heard.
Oh, it's an L.
But I mean, it just goes without saying. It's like, obviously, like, just don't try and be a part of like any mob mentality or, or just don't have like a bystander effect. I mean, it's just there shouldn't be problems in society in general, but there always will be. But I mean, at least you could do something about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And now there's another issue because like sometimes people are too afraid to say stuff.
Yeah,
It's
I can
hard
understand
to be the guy
that.
who says something in a room of people who are saying a contrary thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to feel left out.
Right.
But
It's hard to say go Giants when I'm sitting in the Dodgers side.
but sometimes when you actually manage to say something, you'll find out that there are other people who actually agree with you too, that are just afraid to say something as you are.
Yeah, who maybe they won't say anything or they'll join with what's going on. Like, hey, yeah, guys, I totally dislike A. It's just like you'll find a lot more like-minded individuals because people aren't all that bad.
Yeah. Especially if they don't want people like Kotaku thinking they are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just think it's people, like we were saying, people will go along with the mob. So all you got to do maybe is just change the mob mentality to something a little bit better. Like, hey, how about we not be shitheads when it comes to treating women? That would
I got
be
an idea.
great.
Why don't we just cool it? With the comments. We could just start first by not saying certain words, and then as we go on, maybe rather than berating an individual, we can compliment them for what we enjoy from them.
Well, that's kind of how we started because I know that myself personally, since I started doing this show, that my vocabulary first of all has evolved tremendously. Like I haven't said the N-word in like 5 days. So,
Dang, 5 whole days.
That's right.
You know what? Hold on. Congratulations, Chris. I love you, dude.
oh
You're great.
my god. But because before, I literally felt like there was no consequences for what I said because I was a big black dude and who the fuck was gonna say anything to me? And they still haven't said anything to me, but I don't like the idea of alienating people that I could be friends with later on that I find really cool. There's always that, there's always that feeling where you think you said the wrong thing and everybody's just gonna start walking away from you, and I fucking hate that, because I can never figure out what it is I said. And I just hate the feeling of hurting somebody like that.
It turns out they're just walking away because of what you smelled like.
Yeah, probably. Hey, I took hella showers this weekend.
Man, this guy, he smells like cheap beer and pho. What's up with that?
The best.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that it kind of came to me, from talking to other people about it, is that, yeah, you definitely have the right to say whatever you want to say, but what does it really cost you to delete a few words from your vocabulary? Words that offend people because, well, honestly, they're fucking offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to say what I want to say, and people are going to look at me poorly. Or I can say what I want to say, but, decide to not be a jerk and, just get the point across without having to use certain buzzwords and then be like, oh, now I understand where he's coming from.
Right.
I may agree or disagree, but at least I have not lost any respect for this individual.
I don't know about that. People fucking
Well, I mean, yeah, people will still disrespect you just based, solely on your opinion, but whatever.
Yeah.
It happens.
But honestly, I think that's about as far we can go on that topic without actually involving women on the show.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole other side to this that we can't know. And
People don't even know who I am. How can they say anything to me?
People like Miranda, who made that huge post earlier today.
I didn't see anything of it.
Oh yeah, she actually had a really good tweet about all the stuff she's been through.
I believe it. I mean,
you need to have that conversation with women about this, because just having a bunch of guys in a room like we are just talking about the issue, we're liable to forget about something, or not mention something that's vitally important to them and the things they think about and they see going to tournaments. So, you got to talk to them.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to. We can get like some guest people on here. It'd be a good dialogue.
Yeah. Maybe if people would come on the show, we could do that.
If only Chris would stop smelling.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, Alex.
it might. If you take something to the nose, you won't be able to smell anything again.
You guys are fucked up.
But so I guess that's the end of the actual serious debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, time for zany fun times, right?
Excellent. I think Gibby has a zany fun thing for us.
I've been quiet this whole time because I've been talking in a different chat.
Stewing in your own rage.
Yeah, I want to ask all of your opinions on money matches. Okay, hypothetical question here: if Chris were to money match me, if he challenged me to a money match, is it my responsibility to pursue the match, or is it his responsibility to pursue the match?
His, right? It's like a duel where he's like, I call you out to a duel, and it's like, all right, I choose pistols at dawn. Yeah, can't make it, dude.
Dawn doesn't work for me. I got this thing.
But we all agree that it's the one who issues a challenge that has to pursue.
I would think that. Yeah.
Okay. I challenged a kid, last year some kid challenged me to a money match after Evo, after I beat him. He challenged me to a $50 money match, and I know Knock was there when this happened. I approached him several times at Evo after the matches, and I'm like, "Oh, so what's up? When we can do our money matches?" And he just gave me a blank stare, like, "I'm kind of busy, whatever." He just gave me some weird answer each time. I asked him if he's gonna actually money match me this year, or is he gonna bitch out and not play me? The kid's not going to Evo, so whatever. But
you scared him off from going to Evo?
No. He's just not going. He lives far away. He's in the land of Canada.
This is S-Blade?
Yes, it's S-Blade. Yes.
Okay.
So basically, he's saying it's my fault the money match never happened because I never gave him a call to money match him, or to do the money match, because he was in the Korean room the whole time, where all the top. He said the best KOF room, which was the Korean room, which I don't care if it was the best or not. I challenge you. You challenged me to a money match, so let's do it. Chris, you were there when I reminded him about it 3 different times in person.
Yeah.
So was Knock. So were several other people. There was 5 people there. Even Keith saw me bring it up to him once, and Keith laughed it off. So the kid is now saying that I'm a bunch of expletive deleted things, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't care.
What? Really?
Yeah.
How rude.
He's saying stuff I cannot say on the show, but he's calling me a maggot. He's saying I'm a piece of shit. He has no respect for me because I'm making up things. What the hell? Oh, mind you, he's saying all this behind my back too.
All he had to do was just sit down and play. He was in our fucking room for a good 30 minutes, I think.
Oh no, that was before the Money Match Challenge.
Oh, okay. Oh, this was after the pools?
Yeah, it was after we played in pools.
Well, even then, it's not that hard to just be like, hey, I'm over here, KOF is being played, they got a setup for us, let's fucking do it.
Oh yeah, I know. That's what I was saying, but he didn't do it. This is my thing. If he said, it's cool, I don't want a money match anymore, I would have been like, whatever. But the fact that he didn't say that, and the fact that he just kept avoiding the match and avoiding me entirely when I would talk to him, was the thing that pissed me off. I mentioned it to him maybe twice after Evo last year, maybe a week or 2 after Evo in a chat room, but nothing happened. And then I bring it up now because Evo's coming around the corner. And he's like, oh, well, I went to 6 other tournaments. Yeah, 6 other tournaments
Lost
I
all
did
of them.
go to. Yeah. So here's my question to you guys. If this happens to people, like, okay, I mean, I'm being extremely biased here because it's happened to me. I feel I'm in the right. He's in the wrong. Okay. What are your guys' opinions on this?
I think that the next time that someone calls you out to a money match, make sure you have something to record it so that when they, act a fool, you can be like, oh, by the way, here's some evidence. But I mean, yeah, you definitely, I'd say that you're in the right. And to be like, oh, no, Gibby, your fraudulent ways, you're talking about something that didn't go down the way it happened, when in reality, that's exactly how it happened, but, no one's got any proof,
Yeah, that's the issue. There's no proof of anything. It's all...
Well, you got
Like
witnesses.
selective
Oh, yeah,
memory, though,
yeah.
man.
I actually have several witnesses, and my memory is really, really good. You can ask
Yeah,
Doc.
You
You
don't
can
drink or
ask
smoke or
everyone who
anything.
knows me. Yeah, exactly. That's a really good reason. That
Well,
my
also,
memory's
you
good.
have the, impeccable... You have the spotless record of never turning down a match.
That's
Yeah.
actually true, even though I should turn down matches.
Yeah. I've never seen you turn down a match.
Yeah, and let me. Okay. Anyway, Sanchez, Paulington. What do you guys think?
Honestly, if it was a verbal thing and it didn't happen right then and there, it might as well have never even happened.
Mhm.
And I honestly think the same thing happened with all these people who like do call-outs for money matches before tournaments. We all know that never happens.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, people are like, yeah, I'm taking money matches. You get like 20 people who are like, yeah, I'll definitely do a money match. Like 5 guys show up ever.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I know how that is. That's what it's been like with Mark of the Wolves and me. The only Mark of the Wolves money match I dodged was against Isramic because I didn't go to final round. Damn it.
So, honestly, I don't even. I really fail to understand why this guy's so mad at you.
It's because I'm calling him out on it. Like, cause he's. Yeah. I'm just having fun with it.
I like
I mean, honestly, I really. To me, basically, it didn't even happen. You guys were like, yeah, let's play a money match, and then it just didn't happen. For whatever reason.
For some reason,
You don't get it. It's not that we said let's play a money match. He said no. His exact words where he threw his stick down like, no, fuck that shit. I'll challenge you to a money match. You're free. I'm like, all right.
And you were like, okay, and
Yeah,
then it just
well,
didn't
Let's
happen.
do it. And then I pursued him several times. But he's saying it's because I didn't call him that the money match never happened. Or that I didn't go into the Korean room that the money match didn't happen.
Kind sir,
so-
is it not true that the
There was
initiation of the
stipulation.
money match falls upon the man who wants it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if he said you're free and he challenged you, okay, and you beat him,
I
then
beat him like really convincingly.
you're better. Until
I know.
he disproves it, I don't see
Exactly.
what the point is.
I just wanted his money. $50 would have been really nice for me at the time. I could have went to Hash House like another 5 times again.
Well, then the only one you have to blame is yourself for being lazy.
Yeah, I do
What?
gotta
Listen,
say, you
listen,
could have just.
I
You could have just hounded
pursued-
him.
yeah, he pursued.
He pursued the guy. He wanted it.
Yeah,
should've
but he
just
didn't
called
go
me.
to where the guy was at. If
Because he was hiding in a different country, basically. It's like, oh, go to the Korean room. Which one's that? It's the one without numbers.
What?
Actually,
That is
it
not
kinda
even
was.
true.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't know where the Korean room was.
Yeah,
last year.
because
I
it wasn't
never
actually a
went to it.
Korean room. It was just the Koreans in a room that happened to be not theirs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, remember? It's like they were just like at all the random places.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, because I know I went to the Taiwanese Singapore room.
They
Yeah.
had the big
Um,
suite, didn't they?
I think whatever room the Koreans were in was the big suite.
Yeah, they had the big suite. So they weren't actually in there playing. I think they were just in there sleeping.
No, they were playing because that's where
So that's where he was
Arturo
at.
Sanchez streamed from. Yeah.
Okay. Well, shit.
Yeah, I mean, I just think if you're going to be angry enough to want to play for it, you probably would put a little bit more effort into sitting down and actually playing for it, other
Yeah.
than, hey, catch up with me later. I'm not going to be around.
Honestly, he should have just did it right after he said it. If he was so serious about it, all he had to do was like, I'm out of the fucking tournament. We can go do this right now. You're probably going to get knocked out in the next round anyway. So, there would
Yeah.
even be like a time lapse between like, when you beat him in tournament and then beat him in a money match, right? It could have just happened almost instantly. But
Yeah, like what kind of Dragon Ball Z setup is he going for here? It's like, man, I just lost. Give me 3 months and zero gravity training room, and I'll come back and beat your ass. But you gotta find me in space.
about to learn that final Getsuga Tensho.
Like it doesn't work that way. This guy can stay uptight about it.
Mhm.
Like this kind of crap always fucking cracks me up. Like I've been lucky enough that any money match I've ever had was on the spot. Like I'm not really big on doing the call outs because like Paul said, there's always a bunch of people like, yo, I'm so fucking down, dude. I bang, I fucking throw down all the time. I money match everybody. Tournament time comes. I was at the Popeyes and the waitress got my Cajun spice wrong and it just threw me off for the whole day, man. I don't feel like playing anymore. It just
The stars were aligned.
I don't know,
and-
man. You get that chicken grease on your hands, everything's liable to fuck up.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so that stuff always happens. Yeah, you're gonna keep practicing your Marvel commentary?
That's right.
Ooh,
man.
ooh, 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 ooh.
Ooh, use a ducker, S-Blade.
There you go.
I like that. Yeah.
Yo, Mad Ducats.
All the ducks.
But I
Like
think,
It doesn't mean too much to me. I just find the whole situation hilarious because
What you should have done was that when he was sleeping, you should have just stole the $50. See, no, because you understand this goes like into history. You see, back in the 1800s in the Wild West, people would call people out for duels, but duels would actually rarely ever happen. In the reality, what would happen is if someone would call someone out for a duel, they would go into their hotel room the night before, kill them, show up for the duel the next day, and be like, "Oh, where's the guy? Like, he's not here now. I guess he's just a chicken, and I'm the winner." Like, this legitimately happened. There are historical documents about this stuff that happened.
This
that
will
that's
definitely
somehow
talk about.
doesn't surprise me.
So what people would do is they would put like newspaper on the floor in their hotel room and sleep with a gun under their pillow. So whenever they heard someone come in and stepping on newspaper, they had to unload on them. Because otherwise they were going to get blown away in like the dead of night. So that's all I'm saying. This is just very reminiscent to me of just like this guy calling
So you're
Gibby
supposed to
out.
sleep with your arcade stick. Got it.
Yeah,
Well,
You're like ready at any
you don't
moment.
sleep.
It's like,
that's
oh,
true.
Gibby, you want to play the money match now? Oh, he didn't say nothing. He's ducking me, dude. It's over.
Nod once
That's
or
all.
yes.
I'm just saying. Yeah, so
There's just a TV with sleeping Gibby. Like somebody brings a TV in, quietly turns it on, hooks the system up, takes a picture of Gibby with the arcade stick, in his lap, sort of, and steals his money. Excellent.
no, man, we played. Look, I got evidence and everything.
Oh man. It would just turn into like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing.
Yeah.
He kills him. And there's a Justice corpse to look like he's playing.
Put his aviators on him.
And here we
lean
have
it
a
back.
picture of Gibby after the 5th single character win, triple perfect KOF match.
Are we gonna have like?
See the screen
Are we
says
gonna have like the
5-0.
weekend at Evo 2 where like Gibby gets the voodoo curse and like somehow he's really good at doing like TAC combos in Marvel and he wins the whole thing or something when music
Turns out the
plays?
Marvel champ had been dead for months.
He's beating everybody. He just random selects. He just does the combos every time. Can't stop this man.
But no one would ever know. They would just think he died of excitement on the Evo stage after winning. It's like, oh man, he beat F Champ. Oh, whoa, why is he holding his chest like that? Just collapses on the ground.
Hey, no joke. I think that's gonna happen to me if I ever win Evo. I'm just gonna be like, yeah.
Dude, if you ever win Evo, you're just probably going to shit yourself.
Oh, it won't be the first time.
I don't want to win
Last
Evo.
time.
I don't want to win Evo until the jetpack is invented, just so I can fly away.
Dude, like, how sick would it be to win Evo and just do sick barrel rolls over the audience? With like red, white, and blue smoke coming out of your jetpack.
Nah, dude, we in Vegas. You could just like get the fan man set up, dude. Just like blow
Lord
yourself out of there.
Bachman, a.k.a. the Rocketeer.
Just blow yourself away. Just like,
Or
goodbye,
Walker.
everyone.
I'm going
I'll
to
be
my
back
planet
again
now.
next year.
See, that's why you're the final boss of Evo.
Yeah, dude. Hidden final boss.
Now it makes sense.
Anyway, yeah, like it's not something I'm stressing over at all. I just find it hilarious because back in the day when someone would actually issue a money match, it wouldn't usually happen. Like even if it did happen pre, it's like, oh hey, I'm taking money match at Evo, who wants to play? And you'll have like a thread on SRK, like 20 people, like yeah, yeah, sure, me $5, me $10, and so on, and the majority of them would happen. Or and if they didn't happen, it's because the two people never saw each other.
Right.
Ever since actually, it's still the same way when I actually talk to people who are pre-09, pre-Street Fighter 4. Anyone who came in after that, they've never fulfilled any of their matches with me, except for no, never mind, none of them. I was thinking of something else. Yeah, none of them actually fulfilled their money matches. I've had
Chris is an 09er, right?
Pockets.
What?
Not really. Technically, I'd say yes, but he says he's been around for a while. So
What the
we'll
no.
believe him. No, like yeah. So
to be fair, I don't think Chris has turned down any money matches.
Okay, no, there was one I did turn down. And then technically, I never even like wanted to do it. It was back like I think a year ago when Nameless kept getting on my line about yo money match me, you're hella free, and I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Whoa! We need to clarify. There are two Namelesses out there. We're talking about Ed Diaz here.
Who? So like he just basically kept like bringing it up, and I was just like, nah, dude, like I'm not into it. I'm just going to Evo to commentate and play my matches and get fucked up, right? He's like, nah, dude, what are you scared and shit? And I'm like, and I hate that shit because it's just like.
You calling me chicken? Calm down, McFly.
Yeah, man, like Marty McFly all of a sudden, man. Nobody calls me chicken.
You're yeller.
You're yeller.
Oh, man.
So
like,
like,
you play that match?
Huh? No, I never
you
did
play
it
that
because I
game?
was just
Oh.
like, this is stupid. I don't have any reason to play you. Like,
No, because I was gonna say the situations that arise with that guy never seem to actually pan out.
that's the other part of it. Like, I would never see this dude. And then he approached me at Evo while I'm in fucking pools, and he's like, let's do it, man. And I'm like, dude, you don't see where I'm at right now? Like, come on.
Oh man, he gets you with the grime where like, oh, you're at some funeral for like a coworker, and it's like, yo, let's go.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
I'm
right?
kind of doing something right here, man. I'm kind of grieving. Oh, so you're ducking me, huh?
You ducking me, huh? Looks like you're just busy
Yeah.
being a bitch, and then you're just
like-
kind of like, what can you say to that?
He just slaps the Daffy Duck mask on you and just calls you Duck Dodgers.
Yeah.
Oh no, no.
24th and a half century, dude. That's when he'll actually money match you.
Damn.
So
Dude,
then
I had
after a
that
while,
guy,
and then after that, I was like, I don't even want to play him for any reason because he's an asshole, and I just don't want to be in his company for any reason. I'll pay not to be in his company. I was like, here, just $20, just leave me alone,
I wouldn't even pay him the money. He would have to pay me. Dude,
Well,
I
you were
had
gonna
that guy
money match
said,
him too, weren't you? In Third Strike.
oh, he was trying to get his friend to money match me. He's like, oh, you think you're hot crap at Third Strike? I'm like, I think I'm all right. He's like, well, my buddy could beat you. I was like, all right, I'll play him right now. Because it was at a big Third Strike thing for FFA when it was closing, right? So he's like, he's saying his buddy's good. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, there's a ton of people that play Third Strike here. He's probably going to be here. He's like, well, he's not here. We could play at, Japan Arcade, which is his home turf, which I won't go to for, reasons that Mike Watson has stated. So I'm like, why don't we just do it at the other FFA thing that's going to be the true final one when everyone's going to be here and we know that the cabinets are going to be working? And he's like, we'll see about that. He's kind of busy. And I'm like, why are you setting up a money match for this guy if you can't even confirm that he can go through with it?
Yeah, seriously.
And like, why are you questioning my fortitude about it? I just wanted to go right then and there. It's like, if you think I won't scrounge up $50, like, to just play somebody and humiliate them, I want an excuse to yell stupid things over the arcade. I will do it. Like this, I woke up thinking, I used to do this when I had a job. God, I hope somebody gives me an excuse to jump the counter today.
Oh no, I believe you. And honestly, if that were to happen, I'd have funded the money match for you, even though I'm broke.
Well, we funded the
Dude.
money match for you in NCR, right?
I'm not talking about anything. I don't know what you mean.
I mean, well, for sex.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, you funded my money match, bro. Because you paid out.
I'll fund your money match. Wait, no, I won't. Sorry, I take that back.
You fund my college tuition.
Yeah. So it turns out, just another thing about this kid. Apparently, he's been ousted from 2 different communities
Makes sense.
because of all this.
Wait,
I
just
didn't know
now?
that part. I missed that part. No, he's not because of this, but he's been ousted. And a bunch of people threatened to kick the shit out of him in real life, which I'm like, oh. He didn't seem like that bad of a kid when we first met him.
Yeah, he seemed okay to me. That's why it seems totally out
Yeah.
of character that he's like Like, he's just trying too hard to act like he didn't want to. He might, like, because I get it. Sometimes you say some things in the heat of a moment when you lose a match. It happens to some people. But that doesn't mean you have to literally, like, kind of stick to your guns on that and just be like, well, if I straight up tell him that I was only mad at the time and I really don't want to money match him, then I'm going to look bad. Therefore, I will keep this charade going on just long enough for him to call me out himself, and then I'll call him a jerk. It just doesn't seem worth it.
I think it would be better if he just owned up to it, where it's like, hey, man, I was in a weird spot. I mean, I think you suck, but I don't want to play it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm just going to leave.
Then you just, leave it at that. And, Gibby's free to think that he's, like, a punk, and he's free to be okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then for the record, I don't hate the kid. I just find the whole situation hilarious.
I think his reaction is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's just hilarious. But I mean, I just find the whole thing funny because, like, really, you're trying so hard to make up an excuse as to why this didn't happen.
Hey, man, sometimes you try so hard, you get so far.
But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, I think we're done.
Are we done being silly? Like, we had serious, we had recap.
Hey, man, I closed it out with the Linkin Park quote, dude. I was trying to go out here with some class. You're ruining my French film I'm trying to plan out in my head.
You know what?
Oh, that was a Linkin Park quote? Okay, I was trying to figure out. I'm like, I don't remember that song, but I know the lyrics. Shit, what is it?
All right, hold on. Let's try to leave on something else. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
No,
you might leave in a body bag, but
done.
never in cups.
You're done. But, so, to just kind of sum up what we were talking about earlier, you might have a problem with a news outlet, but don't have a problem with the news, because sometimes there's really important things you need to pay attention to.
That being said, man, F the LAPD, yeah, fight the power. Or
sometimes I can't tell if you're joking or not.
That's the
Tony
best
wishes
time.
He was in the LA riots.
Wow.
No, please no.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll stay in my house. I live in the suburbs. It's nice here.
No, not my store!
All right. Anybody else?
I feel like I had something else to say, but it's not important. Probably I can save it for next week.
All right.
Chris got his ass beat in KO13 this past weekend by all of us. It was hilarious. Go on.
All right.
Oh, actually, I did want to mention one last thing then,
Okay.
since Gibby brought it up. We basically played a first to whatever in Guilty Gear, and I think at around 6 a.m., I dizzied his Kai and instant killed Hell Pockets.
And you got it perfect.
And it was a perfect.
That was with Slayer, by the way.
Yes.
And then I went outside and ate ants.
Yep. Went outside to smoke, in quotations, and then I just walked outside and he was just eating bugs to soothe the soul.
Okay. I was asleep, so I'll guess that happened.
So angry!
Okay, Paul.
But yeah, that I guess wraps it up. So for everybody here at Super Desperation Radio, have a nice rest of the week. We'll see you next week for the week before Evo. I guess there may be something to talk about. That might be interesting.
Could be.
Well, there's Curly Mustache this weekend, right? So we might.
Oh yes, we cover all of the Marvels here.
That's
Oh,
right.
and we might have on-site reporting from Anime Expo.
Oh yeah, that's possible. Oh yeah,
Oh,
Chrono
yeah.
Phantasm's going to be at AX. So
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh yeah, and if you're really interested in Skullgirls, apparently Muriel Cartwright, Kuniko, the lead animator, is going to bring her laptop to the booth at Anime Expo and going to work on Big Band Live. So if you're interested in that kind of animation and whatnot, go check that out.
Oh,
There's also a
alright.
panel.
Also,
That could be
if,
really
you're,
cool.
if you're in Ogo Show's bracket at Evo, you're probably going to lose because he beat everybody in Japan, so stay free.
No, he was on a team that beat everyone in Japan.
You
Ogosha
said
had
nobody else
no
got to
work.
play, though. Oh, Mew did.
Mew beat everyone.
Mew beat everybody. Strongest card in the
Yes.
world.
Ogosha didn't play.
Anyway,
Alright, go for it, Paul.
all right, guys. For everybody here at Super Desperation Radio, this is Paul, Super FX, saying good night and good luck.
Baba Booey.